everyone, and I am so excited today to talk to a BQH practitioner that I haven't talked to before, and this is Lilly Bab. She actually has a longer name, and she's going to tell us what that is right now, but we're going to talk about how she found BQH. We have a couple little session clips to share, and just wanted to learn a little bit more about this gal. So welcome, Lilly Bab, and go ahead and tell us what's your real last name all the way through.
My long last name is Lilly Babakidis. It's a long Greek last name, but I go by Lilly Bab just because it's a little easier. But yeah, so that's my name.
Well, we've got several people from Greek background practicing Harakatsiki. Of course, I thought I might have said your name correctly just by knowing how she pronounces hers, and love the Greek attitude about a lot of things. So welcome to the Quantum Healers community and to BQH. But welcome is kind of a funny word because you took the class quite a while ago.
End of 2018 is I think when I was officially certified. I want to say October, but I could have that a little off. And so yeah, but so many new things happening all the time. The work transforms and everything. But yeah, it's been a bit of time that I've been enjoying this space and BQH.
Well, why don't you start by telling us, how did you even find out about Beyond Quantum Healing and what brought you to this work?
Absolutely. Yeah. So my background is actually super corporate, and so I went to business school in college and graduated and entered the corporate world right away, was there for a few years and then left. And I didn't leave finding BQH. I actually was a glass artist, a jewelry artist, and started sharing my work online when I was working a corporate job. And, my presence really kind of grew, and I was able to, pursue my passions full time. And so I was doing that for a few years and, enjoying creating. I made vortex marbles, which really, the animal energy is wanting to play today. So I love it. But yeah, so I was an artist at the time and really pursuing my passions full time. And then an accident happened with my grandmother, and it was really sudden. It shook up my family. She had a brain bleed. I'm super close with my grandmother. She and my mom raised me. I mean, she's my second mother, my mom, so it's essentially like my mom got very, very sick and had this brain bleed. I didn't even know that could happen to humans, quite frankly. I didn't know that was a thing, but her consciousness completely changed. I had never seen this happen to a human. Like I said, I didn't know this was possible, but it was such a lesson and such a gift in a way. I didn't know that at the time, but it got me so curious about consciousness. And of course, I'm a huge researcher. Whatever I do, I research. So I started researching on YouTube videos about consciousness, and of course, stumbling upon the work of Dolores Cannon, as one does when studying consciousness, right? And then, of course, loved the information. It so resonated with me, and found your work in BQH, and something just really pulled me towards BQH. And I think now, knowing that the opportunity and option to do virtual sessions, right? It kind of stuck in the back of my mind. I was like, this is so cool. This is a whole new perspective. It really speaks to me. Took so much fear out of the picture. I mean, eliminated fear from my life of death. So I'm like, okay, this is fantastic, fabulous. I want to do this. I want to do this. And also, I wasn't able to create art so much. I was going through all of this, stuff with my grandmother, helping her recover. And she's 99 now. So, I think it's been maybe 4 years or since she's, been in recovery and everything. And her consciousness has changed to that of how it once was, at the start. So yeah, am I going a little too all over the place, or?
You're doing great. This whole time that you're telling me all of this, which is all fascinating, and I have things to say about almost all of it, but I'll try to be brief myself.
Right.
I was wondering how your grandma was. So thank you for letting us know.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, it was so crazy. So discovering BQH, kind of seeing her recover, her consciousness, like I said, it changed to where for a couple of weeks when she had this brain bleed, she just wasn't my grandmother. And it sparked something in me that this can happen to people. What is consciousness? And then, of course, finding BQH
Right.
and practicing and just going out there. Like I said, 2018, got my certification and just started practicing, and so started slowly telling people that I did this. I was very secretive for a long time, you know, and but then once I started telling more people, telling my family, they were open, and then telling more people, they were open, and then I had my first virtual client at the end of 2019. A friend was just like willing to try it. She was like, hey, I heard you do these virtual sessions as well, like if you would like to try one on me, if that would help you out. And so I said, yes, let's do it. Sure, I've never done one before. You're willing, let's try it. Right. So I'd been practicing for like about a year when she said that. And also, I was really drawn to BQH too because of the virtual aspect. Everyone I knew who I thought would be a perfect fit for this work and me, none of them lived close to me either. So I was like, okay, this is just aligning. So, yeah, I had my first virtual session and it went great. I couldn't believe it. You know, I was just so flabbergasted is the word, you know, but just, and how every session was, you know, because when you're starting out, you're like, how is this all going to go with different people, different personality types, family, friends, people you don't know at all. And it just transformed. And the virtual session started blooming this past year, of course. And it all made sense. It all fell into place. Bang. Like it allows flexibility, right? This BQH modality. So yeah, that's kind of the as short as I can get the story. But yeah, that's how I found it. And now that, you know, this past year or two, just really starting to step into the practice, and even over the past several months, sharing more, being really open and owning my power in terms of sharing online and all of that. So yeah, that's my little start of BQH and my journey, and hopefully not talking too much about it.
No, you're doing great. I can feel your passion and excitement. You kind of remind me of me, Lilly Bab. So, you know, this is great. I do want to react to a few of the things you said. The very first thing that I would like to react to is this idea of this modality being safe online. Mm-hmm. Now, when I first started teaching and first started offering, that was the primary concern of absolutely everybody. And I won't name any names because why would I do that? But there were people back then, friends, colleagues, longtime practitioners who said to me, and I mean privately sometimes, but publicly and privately sometimes, I will never, ever, ever do sessions online. I just won't do it. They had these reasons why. Everyone I know who made those statements to me are now doing sessions online. They all are. And because they all are, and you can fill in the blanks, and a lot of them are obvious. So that's number one. The second thing I want to say about this thing is, because after doing this for years and years and years now, you know, I started experimenting in 2016, really started experimenting in 2017, of course, launching the course not long after. This whole idea of safety, let me point out just a little something for you and those who might be listening. I've done thousands of sessions now, thousands. And when I think back to all the different sessions I've done, there's only 1, 2, 3, maybe a handful of when people got back to me after leaving a session. And I'm talking about in-person sessions where people left, where they had their snack, where they put their feet on the ground, where they touched a tree, or, you know, or I made sure that they were fully recovered and conscious. You know, you can suggest people bring drivers, but they don't always listen to you. Right? You just can't make people do what they don't want to do. I had a number of those people, nobody ever got into an accident or anything, but I had a number of those people say, you know, I thought I was completely awake when I left your studio, but I really kind of almost wasn't. And I don't remember the drive home because that altered state can linger. So my statement now is, you tell me where you're better, behind the wheel of a car or on your own sofa at home.
100% at home. And there is a special magic with these virtual sessions. I found that since I started doing the in-person and you know, this past year, switching to only virtual, I swear there's a special magic that happens with these virtual in-person, because I'm in my own space, your client's in their own space. You're nowhere are you more comfortable than your own home, own bed, own couch, whatever. You have your own bathroom, your own food, you have the anxiety of parking somewhere, traffic, everything you said and more. And I think that taking the anxiety and all these other elements out of it allows the session to go deeper or
Absolutely.
something happens. Yeah.
There's so much to say about that too, because first of all, people did, and well, they still do, but much fewer fly in here. I mean, I've had people fly in from Dubai.
I believe it. I believe it. Yeah.
So if you're flying in from Dubai to Wichita, Kansas, to drive out to Augusta to have a session, the importance and the being on on show, and this is my one shot, and the timing, and this is when my flight leaves, and all of that is gone. All of that is gone, and suddenly it opens up. And you know what? Something else, and I've thought about this for a while, Lily, but I'm not sure I've said it out loud before. But you know how we talk a lot about the energy grid that's around the planet. Mm-hmm. All the information that it is, the part of the cache and the different timelines and stuff. I'm of a mind that when we do these quantum sessions over the internet, which is kind of the human's practice grid, right? This is what us practicing using the bigger concept thing. I think sometimes that's bolstered by it being kind of out there and encompassing more of the world. What do you think?
True. No, I think that makes a lot of sense. And I don't know, it almost is like the more distant you are from someone, the more, I don't know, it's just, it's a certain magic that happens when no matter how far you are, if you're in the same state across the way. I've done sessions like that, or in other states, it's almost like you can, I don't know, I'm not saying like trying to test the energy, but it's almost like a way to kind of test it in a way, and it works. It's been working for me every time. I don't know. It's magic. It's magic. Yeah. It's consciousness, which is all the same, I mean, it's ways to say the same word, but I absolutely agree with these virtual sessions. It takes all of that away, and it's benefited me and my clients so much. And the pressure is immediately what I was thinking as you spoke, takes so much pressure out of it. Like, performance pressure, like you said. So the benefits are just, you can go on and on about all the benefits for sure.
It's true. Well, a couple more things I want to talk about. First is I cannot believe how many people who do this work have an arts background. I didn't realize that. I know that you had mentioned just in our communications about the corporate background, but I mean, it makes sense just taking one look at you. Obviously I can see that. And of course, as an artist myself, I appreciate the fact that those of us who've already allowed our imaginations a place in our world, how that actually benefits us in this work. Right?
Oh, yes.
Work out there. But then when you talk about the corporate world, this is something that is brought up over and over again. It's been brought up since I started doing the work of quantum healing after meeting Dolores in 2008. But this whole thing of, I don't want my corporate job anymore. Mm-hmm. I want to do this all the time. This is what makes me feel alive and what I'm passionate about. Mm-hmm. And I think it's interesting that you touched on it. But less and less back in 2008, there were so many people who used absolutely two different names. Mm-hmm. Two different names. I am this person to my family and to my regular corporate job, and I am this person as a quantum healer. And I remember looking at that, completely understanding it. However, there's an energy disconnect there. And when you want to try to hide, anything, try to hide anything these days, it's not going to work.
Correct.
We're in this time, 2021, where transparency is the name of the game, and you just can't hide anything. You might as well just go ahead to what is true and obvious, at least from your perspective. And that doesn't mean bludgeon somebody with your version of stuff and go on the attack mode. What I'm saying is if you're finding yourself telling even the smallest of white lies, I would caution you to give it a second thought before telling any kind of white lie about anything. Think about a kinder way to either not answer the question or say something at least truthful. But when you say things that are untrue, that energy stays in your field.
You're correct.
Yes. More and more of us who do this work, we can feel that energy. And humans kind of have it anyway because we've been trained that this is the way the world works. And so you have to be understanding and forgiving of people, but you can also decide to do better. And being transparent is my suggestion. And again, that doesn't mean go back to your corporate job and put something on the bulletin board that you're offering these sessions now, because that's a disconnect. You have to sort of find the people who are ready and open and are energetically drawn to you, and not try to convert anyone in your history. But you never know. And what I find, and you said it already as we've been talking, so many people are open to this. So many people who you might not believe are open to this. I live on the buckle of the Bible Belt here in rural Kansas. And I have yet to meet anyone, even the very traditional fundamentalist kind of Christian, who isn't interesting and at least open-minded to a point of being polite and accessible about this work. And you know what else I find about that whole idea, which I was not raised as a churchgoer. Don't know that much about the Bible. I know more about the Bible, Jesus, and all of that since doing this work than before. But what I have found is I have a lot more in common with those people, and they have a lot more in common with me. And we are able to talk about this stuff. And so far, it's all worked out well. I mean, the time when I remember most in my head, this was several years ago now, but the time I remember most in my head of kind of being put on the spot was this little committee in my little town of Augusta, the little local city committee, which was like 3 women in matching pencil skirt blazers, slingback sandals, and right? You can imagine.
I can picture it.
Yeah. And they're going, their local business, they're making kind of a crawl of the local business, and they happen to see me by my door. And they ask if they can come in for a minute, and they do. And I invite them in and I make them tea and everything like that. And then they're all 3 sitting there and they look at me and say, "So what is it that you do here?" And I have to decide, okay, how am I going to talk to these ladies about this? And I, like, going into cold water at the swimming pool, I put 1 toe in and another 2 toes in. You know what? It was spectacular. They were all so supportive, so welcoming, so interested, and they were great, and completely from a different background, and it was all new to them. And so I think, as long as you don't try to foist your reality upon anyone else, and the world is accepting and changing.
You're so right. And like I said before, like, when I was more secretive about my work and not stepping into it. And then when I decided one day, after, at a certain point, you also receiving messages in sessions too, to just step into it, just do it, just share whatever you're called to share, whatever resonates with you, just living your authentic self, right? Your own authenticity. And ever since I've started doing that, boom, the whole world opens up. You just start attracting, like attracts like, just like, like they all say, everywhere you go, you meet people and they're open to it. And even if you think that they wouldn't be, they're accepting, polite. I haven't had a bad experience yet as well. So completely mirrored from what you said. That all resonates with me, because everyone is just becoming more and more open and intrigued and interested, which is fabulous, you know, so.
We've already had a wonderful, even before we press the record button, we've talked about how energy, just more than ever, the energy is very magnetic. You know, if you put out something, it's going to come back. And so while you were talking about putting yourself out there, I had a cardinal land. I don't know if anyone heard any of it, but the ting, 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 the cardinal just landing right there, looking right in the window while you're talking about sharing. And of course, that's what Dolores's entire life was about. Before she actually even started teaching her method, she was simply sharing the information and the stories that, you know, that came from her sessions all those years. And speaking of information and sessions, there are a couple of audio clips that I want to share today that you sent along for me. So I'm going to ask you to kind of set them up here. The first one I really want to, I'm going to share two parts of this clip, is one that really warmed my heart for a couple of reasons. And this is a clip about, and I'll just go ahead and say it, it's a mermaid clip. It's a session about a mermaid. And the reason being is more and more, even though I've had many mermaids over the years, they're really, it's picking up pace. They're showing up more. And as a matter of fact, the very last tandem session I did, which I did for the live BQH class that happened here in Wichita area in April of this year of 2021, the two people who laid down, one was a BQH practitioner, her name's Allison Brown, her husband Will Brown. They were laying side by side and doing this demo session for the students who showed up, and she was a mermaid. He was not. And of course, that's the real interesting part of this story that I will just set on a shelf for right now. But this clip that I would like to play, but first I want to hear from you a little bit of the setup. It's so authentic in this way for me. The way she describes herself and how, and the whole thing, it's like that happens over and over and over again. Almost the same, let's call it scene, the same scene. It happens over and over again. And it's beautiful. So if it's okay, would you tell us a little bit about like the client, just generally the main reason that they came for a session, and maybe how the session played out, or any reaction you got at the end. And I want to play this clip just to kind of share it and show people. So this person came to you for a session, and what was the main reason for a session?
Well, she coming just to kind of, she was really working on herself. She has a practice herself as well. And just wanting to just like, honestly, stepping into her power, just what we've been talking about, I'm telling you. And that is the message. That's a message that was given to share as well. I didn't send you that clip, but it happened towards the end of her session. And she was so absolutely, we could share anything. She was so willing for us to, just anything I wanted, she gave me free reign to talk about and for us to discuss. So she's fabulous. But really just stepping into her power so she can take herself and her business to help her clients to the next level. And, but yeah, this mermaid lifetime, I know we're sharing just a bit of it, but I have the full 14-minute clip up on YouTube. So I don't know if you've even had a chance to look at the end of the clip and kind of the end of the story and the lessons. Oh yeah, it gets pretty crazy. But yeah, so this is the beautiful setup to that. So yeah, it's a beautiful mermaid lifetime.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to go ahead and play the first part of this clip, which is just kind of, you know, the first part of the session.
Okay.
And what and how it plays out.
He's leaving. Okay.
Oops.
Leaving.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I need to go to the beginning. There we go.
Perfect.
The water a lot, like almost like I live in the water.
Okay. It's feeling like you live in the water. Let's look at your feet or the bottom portion of your body, your hands as well. What does your body look like as you're in this water?
Like I'm a mermaid.
You look like a mermaid in this. What about your bottom portion of your body? Doesn't look like you have feet or legs?
No, it's like a tail. I have a tail.
You have a tail. What color is this tail?
like a blue-green shimmering.
Blue, green.
It's big. It's not like I'm not a fish. I'm like human size.
Your human size. Now it's going up from the tail. What does the tail look like as it meets your waist and torso? What does your body look like, the rest of you?
I'm like half human, half fish.
Half human, half fish. Are you male or female?
Female.
Female. Okay. What do your hands look like?
My fingers are webbed.
Your fingers are webbed. What is the webbing? What color is the webbing in your fingers?
Like bluish green.
Bluish green. So just like the tail?
Yeah.
Did you have scales? Did it look like all over your tail as well?
Yeah.
Scales all over your tail. Also, what does your hair look like in this space, in your face?
My hair is long and dark.
Long and dark. What about your face? What do you look like?
I have like roundish features, but I'm thin.
Roundish features.
So I'm going to stop it right there. But, what's fascinating to me, and then we're going to pick it up here in a second, but what's fascinating to me is this, this precision of the webbed fingers and the colors and the scales and all of that. It's never really changed over all of these years that I've had mermaids or even listened to some of the students or others who practice BQH, their sessions. And even with the color and the web fingers and, on movies, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think in movies they show mermaids with webbed fingers.
Not usually, at least like the typical, your typical thought of a mermaid isn't that, it's not the webbing. And another thing about the interesting thing about her session and the webbing specifically is I know we're not going to be sharing this clip, but it's one of the ones one of the ET ones that I sent you. It was that first one. She had the same webbing in her ET hands as well. So there was so many connections just with like the physicality of that mermaid and that cosmic, but it was very interesting to me just seeing mirrors within the lifetimes that she experienced just physically. Right.
Yeah.
It was very cool. Very cool.
That's so amazing. The one mermaid session that sticks out in my mind so well was an in-person session. I've mentioned this on other shows before, so those of you who've heard this before, you'll say, yeah, she said that before, but it's still so funny to me because I had a client there in person, and sometimes in-person clients, I'll put headphones on them, headphones on me for a variety of reasons, but we were doing that this time. As a matter of fact, you know what? I think she might have been the Dubai client. Oh my gosh, I think she actually was.
There you go.
I hadn't put that.
Moment.
Yeah. I haven't put that together till just this second.
Right.
I actually think she was. Anyway, so she's got these headphones on, and she actually sits up out of the session. She goes, Candace, you're pumping noises into this headphone, aren't you? And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. She goes, I hear water. And I'm like, there's no.
Wow.
Just lay down, put your headphones on. Now, this client had actually said, I have these dreams, and I don't know, it sounds silly. I think I might, I have these dreams of maybe being like a mermaid, like being, but I know that's silly. I mean, she was very like, pushing this away.
Mm-hmm.
And she, and she sat up then a second time and said, I hear waves, I hear water. She actually looked at me. She's like, she's looking at me. We've already done the induction and everything.
Right.
Takes off the headphones. She looks at me and says, you can tell me. It's okay. You can tell me if it's water. I won't be mad at you. I'm like, I am not playing anything in your headphones at all. Every time she closed her eyes, she stepped into this ocean environment and heard the water.
Wow.
And she was so adamant that I was faking it somehow for her. And I'm like, stop it. Just go with this story. So I just love that, but I'm gonna finish now.
Okay.
This is after a little bit more
Okay.
describing.
Okay.
A little bit more describing about what's actually happening in this mermaid's life.
There are others like me.
Others like you, do you see them around?
They're close by, but I'm like hanging out by the shore by myself.
Hanging out by the shore by yourself. What happens next as you're hanging out by the shore?
I'm like watching or looking for like something.
What are you looking for or watching for? You know, first thing that comes to mind.
Human.
Human. What human?
The man.
A man? Which man? What's his name? First name that comes to mind.
Jack.
Jack. Who is this human man to you?
I'm in love with him,
Okay.
but I don't know him. I've just been watching him from afar.
Does he know you?
He has sensed me and has thought he's seen me.
So I'm going to go ahead and stop it there, because this is like almost some of the exact thing that happened in this tandem session I just did.
Really?
Some of the exact same thing. And what fascinating, I'm even got goosebumps thinking about this. The fascinating thing there, it was all telepathic communication, right?
Mhm.
Which is what she's sort of saying, he's sensing me. He's sensing me. So if you just, once again, this is stepping into your imagination and allowing the contact. And look, you'll send me the link to the full clip.
Yes.
We'll put it in the notes under this show when we release the show, and we can all go find out what happens next with the mermaid.
Because it gets to be your non-traditional mermaid story. It is not the Little Mermaid. It sounds like it, right? It's like, oh, I'm a mermaid and I'm sitting on a rock, and it sounds like the Little Mermaid, right?
Yeah.
It changes, and boy, is it not the Little Mermaid anymore. And we have lessons, and it's great. So yeah, I thought I had sent you the whole one, but yeah, so it's on YouTube right now. You can watch it. We'll put it in the link. I'll send it to you right after this. Yeah. So I'm excited for you to watch it, to see the similarities. If the ending, how it works with that tandem session, and what the overlap is. That's so interesting. I love it.
It really is. Well, we're going to finish up today by sharing another clip, and I'm going to play the entire clip. And I'm actually, Lily, very glad that you sent me short clips. Lots and lots of long, complete sessions out there. It's not what I like to focus on doing these shows. They're out there. People want to spend time listening to this kind of stuff. They certainly can. I love these little summaries and the little clips. They're my favorite way to present this work. And so this next one is you even title it the New Earth and Event clip. And the reason I want to play this clip, and I'll play it in its entirety, and it is I don't know, maybe about 3 minutes long. There's such a similarity about some of the description in here, and a lot of it that resonates, and that I've heard in session after session of my own and others is about the light and the colors. And so let's listen to that clip.
Okay, perfect.
But you know what? Give me a moment. Set me up for this.
Sure, yeah.
This person come for a second.
Similar type of thing, wanting to step into kind of creating more of a community. So not so much a service-based type client-based business, but kind of just a spiritual community. Kind of wanted to activate, and as she was stepping into that, as well as many other things. But that was one of the things. And yeah, there were other parts in her session that spoke about, New Earth and Ascension in the event, but this was kind of the most condensed part. But it was all the light flicker, these lights, just like we were saying. So throughout her session, the lights, but this was the most condensed part. So yeah, that's what we'll be sharing.
All right, let's have a listen.
So it's a very peaceful earth, lots of fruit, lots of animals. What else is on this peaceful earth that you see?
It's a lot of land that I need to get around on. Foot, bike.
Okay, I'd like you to look at your feet. What do your feet look like in this space?
They look like light, like the light flickers almost.
They look like the light flickers in your eyes. What about your hands? Same thing.
Same thing.
So it looks like light, almost like a light body. Is that what you
Yeah.
would say? Okay, I see. So you have a light body in this place. What else do you see in this space?
Just like home.
You see home? What's your home look like?
It's all of the land that's spread out.
Mm-hmm.
It's open living, inside, outside.
Uh-huh. What do the living spaces look like?
Not really like, I feel like I could just lay in a bed of flowers and be okay.
I see. So it's kind of just everywhere, anywhere you want to go. It seems to be a freer way of living in this place and space, correct?
Yeah.
I see. That makes a lot more sense. So, you in this form, in this light body, it sounds as if this is, what many describe as the new earth. Is this the new earth JC is experiencing in this moment?
Yeah.
She is experiencing what they call the new earth at this moment, correct?
Yeah.
I see. So tell me, please, what information do you have for us in regards to the new earth and the event?
Keep getting this feeling of water rising as I'm breathing, and it's like, it's kind of like just let it take you over.
Let it take you over. Okay. Let what take you over?
The new energy.
The new energy. Our new energy. Can you tell me more, please, about this new energy of the new earth and the event?
It's those light flashes.
Light flashes. Can you tell me specifically about those light flashes, please?
I'm feeling them as if for each one I want to follow each one, but there's so many.
Where are these light flashes originating from?
It's more just like coming from the inside, outside, but looking like it's only on the outside.
I see. So maybe these flashes are coming from the inside and the outside. It looks like it just comes from the outside. Does this have anything to do with the inner earth?
Yes.
So there's that clip. And I love that so much too, because what I sense, and I especially love the pausing there, because what happens is the clients pause because they're trying to explain what they're experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes words don't cut it here doing this, because you really are moving into this multidimensional part of yourself while you're having this experience. But of course, we're still communicating with words, so we have to send words back to be able to analyze this and share the experience. But I love the way she said the inside, the outside. So it's multidimensional.
Exactly. It sounded so interesting to me. I was like inside, outside, and a lot of I can't remember if other parts of her session spoke to kind of the inside and the flashes and where they were coming from. But I have had kind of just inner earth be another kind of theme come up in my sessions. As well. So that's what I thought of. I was like, oh, like, maybe, or even the core of the earth too, like, and the crystalline core of the earth. So that's what I thought of, cause I'll picture things as my clients will be describing things too. And, but yeah, she kept describing these light flickers in her eyes is when they started. She kept seeing like flickers in her eyes, and then described her body as looking like a big whole light flicker. So, and then it made me think, okay, your body's light, and unraveled from there. But it was so interesting to hear her describe what she was experiencing, as well as living. There were no like living spaces. It was just kind of like, it was almost like a silly question that I asked, where do you live? She's like, oh, it's like a freer way of living, and we live outside. It's just a different way. And so I love that too. Another kind of pattern, new earth type thing that, something great to talk about and bring up.
Super. Well, Lilly, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. Lovely to meet you. Happy that you're taken to this work the way that you have. I am sure that we're going to chat again. So why don't you tell everyone, other than just on the quantumhealers.com website,
Sure.
where can they find you?
Sure. I go by The Quantum Guide on all social media, Instagram, YouTube, The Quantum Guide. And like I said, I have that mermaid clip, so you can check that out as well. And I love sharing these clips in this way, to your point. So yeah, just sharing more in the future. Can't wait to share more of this work. And thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so grateful. This has been such a dream, and looking forward to chatting in the future. This has been so great.
It's
Thank
been fun.
you.
It's been fun connecting with you too, Lilly. All right. So after we've talked to Lilly, there's actually somebody else that's got a few things to say. And up next is Michele Campbell.
Being human in 2021. Wow, that's a quantifiable question in itself. Leave it to the Quantum Healing Forum to come up with that one for this year. But I'm going to take it from the metaphysical realm, from the QHHT, the BQHT, the energetic healing, the mobilities and modalities that have come into our awareness. But first, before I can get more in depth into the metaphysical of being human in 2021 and what that means to each of us, let's look at some quantum jumpers that have brought us here today to where we're at.
This, you might say, is the oversoul, the higher self, the higher consciousness. It is so big and so huge, it has the answers to everything. Why not work with something like that? Mm-hmm. And I had to have a name for it, so I called it the subconscious. They say, we don't care what you call us, we'll work with you. And it's a beautiful, wonderful energy. And do it step by step without being influenced by other hypnosis methods. And really, this is your case too, isn't it, Candace, of what happened to you?
Yes, ma'am. I remember making the call to your office about the class, and this was back in 2008. BQH. In its most simple terms, BQH is a heart-based healing and consciousness exploration modality. So I started out about a decade ago, actually a little more than a decade, practicing various forms of hypnosis and past life regression, quantum healing energy even before that, Reiki even before that.
I want to share a small clip of a Beyond Quantum Healing session that I had right after I got certified, and we were doing session swaps. It was so mind-melting because of the information that I was saying. I had no clue what any of it was about. It took a lot of time and research to figure out a lot of the things that I was talking about. Check this out.
Her to and from the healing bed when she was broke.
Is there a certain mission or purpose or something needs to be working on? Or, I mean, I know we're all important, but it seems that she's so connected to the Pleiadians and other groups like that, and I'm just wondering if that is for a purpose or...
She volunteered when there's a selection. She was selected to keep an eye on her.
In this session, I heard things that I would have never said, nor did I know about. I never thought of aliens, nor their names, healing beds, volunteers. All of these things were new terminology to me. But as I did research and I looked into, it was Shane who introduced me to Beyond Quantum Healing, which got me interested in taking the BQH course. And then I went into practice sessions, and that's where I heard of volunteers and all of these different names of these different types of aliens, which I wouldn't really classify as aliens. You could think of them as different categories of angelic beings, whatever you're comfortable with. But healing beds, going back and forth to healing beds, and I was discussing actually in that session of something that happened when I was a small child, something I did not remember. I thought all of this came about because of my NDE when I was 15. I had no idea. So the metaphysical is physical. It is becoming a part of our norm. So to be human in 2021, we are in amazing times. And BQH, QHHT, and even energy modality of any sort, healing in that way works, as long as the receiver is willing to accept it. These two women have made groundbreaking discoveries in the modality of healing, from QHHT being physically on the table to beyond quantum healing, where it can be done because energy is, there's no limit, there's no distance, and there's no space. It can be done from home, through the computer, on the telephone, to where we're at today, humanity in 2021, opening up to the sixth sense, letting that become a huge part of our awareness and our very essence and being. We are becoming clairaudio, clairsentient. We are having dreams, visions. We're visiting other realms, having OBE, out-of-body experiences, otherwise known as astral projecting. Seeing the things that are in the unseen realm become a daily part of our walk. Being human in 2021 is definitely some exciting times to be alive. Oh, there are so many whom we could just wish to be here with us at this very, very moment, experiencing what we are going through. But how do you tell somebody that they are unique and special and one of a kind, but also part of one? It's a mind-boggling conundrum, to say the least. But to understand the oneness that we all have brings the respect and commonality back to unity and diversity. Allowing others to be and let be is a huge part of the growth process, as we are all going through this together. Mankind in 2021 may look chaotic on the scene of the world stage, but if you look at Sheba, she is known as a destroyer. But really, it is a matter of the old must go to make way of the new. The new that is coming in is a paradigm of the golden age, the age of thought, hearing through thought, moving in our Merkaba at the speed of thought, exploring limitless potential. Remember that the limits that we have are the only limits that we put on self. Energy healing will never make another quantum leap into the future, where we can connect and send over energy and help to another by not having to ask them physically, but talking to their oversoul, their higher self, or their spirit guides. Matters not what you call what is going on. The metaphysical realm is kicking up into high gear. So many people have so many gifts stirring in their awareness at this very moment. Forums like this allow it to be part of a normal life. Where we used to feel strange and isolated that, oh my goodness, we can't talk to anybody about this. We have these places where we can come together and share these expansions. Every time I think I might know something or may have gained mastery on something, I find out there's yet more mysteries in the revelations to come. What exciting times we live in to be here and be human in 2021. Remember, 2020 is considered the year of perfect vision. As we're coming into the scales falling off, the boxes falling away, all of the structures and the boundaries that once confined us seem to be melting away moment by moment. As we show ourselves approved to rule over self, we are able to rule over self. When our desires that we wish to experience don't encroach on another's sovereignty or oppress another being, why not experience it? It's an expansion on the quantified level. We are so much more. We will soon understand of toggling back and forth into the ether realm and traveling to and fro the speed of thought as a part of our day-to-day life. Being human in 2021 is an exciting time to be alive, and how much we have to offer one another. It's limitless, absolutely limitless. And when we do things for one another, most times we do it in secret and in quiet. Through a meditation or a prayer, we send over the energy because it's not what we want from you. We learn and do for others because we understand the oneness that we are. If we do for another, it's the same as doing for self, even though we're a unique, one-of-a-kind being. It's such a paradigm shift and an understanding growing into a huge awakening period. What a time to be alive and to be human in 2021. The metaphysical abilities that are coming into awareness for mankind in 2021. Empathy, telepathy, clairsentience, clairvoyance, precognition, recognition, channeling, astral projection, dreams and visions, telekinesis, pyrokinesis, electrokinesis, megakinesis, photokinesis, hydrokinesis, aerokinesis, vitakinesis, and several other modalities are coming into our awareness. Of course, the empathy or sensory empathy. So yes, it's great to be human in 2021. So let us take a few moments to give our gratitude to Dolores Cannon for introducing QHHT, and to Candace Craw-Goldman for bringing it to beyond quantum healing as we ready ourselves to step into and stand in our positions in 2021. I can be found on a YouTube channel, Awake and Activate. Also, you can find me on the Beyond Quantum Healing Forum website. Hey, we've got this, you guys. And I'll talk to you soon. Have a great 2021. Peace.